Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the songs that have dominated Spotify as of March 2024. Note that these numbers are subject to change.
When we let the story begin, we're going out on our first date.
Number 30, Circles, Post Malone.
We couldn't turn around till we were upside down.
There are a lot of facets to the music of Post Malone. This inability to truly be pigeonholed has assisted the musician on the charts, allowing songs from various genres to succeed without ever pinning Post Malone down to a single style. Circles highlights Malone's ability as a singer, albeit assisted by autotune, presenting a bit more powerful vocalizing to go along with the singer's already proven ability to croon and connect with his audience. Said audience has streamed Circles more than 2.4 billion times on Spotify, an encouraging validation and victory for one of today's most popular artists.
Run away, but we're running in circles. Run away, run away.
Number 29, Tide Vance Joy.
I was scared of dentists and the dark.
Folk music isn't exactly a genre that, historically speaking, has burned up the Spotify streaming charts. Then again, there's no rule that says the right folk track can't be a huge hit. So here we are with Riptide from Vance Joy.
Lady, running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side.
The Australian singer-songwriter certainly seems to know a strong melody when he hears one, and the chorus to Riptide is immediately hummable and memorable. Joy's guitar playing is humble, but allows the song to breathe, while his backing vocals work wonders on that aforementioned chorus. Just over 2.4 billion Spotify users flocked to Riptide when it was released, helping break Vance Joy into the mainstream.
When you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna say the words wrong, yeah.
Number 28, Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen.
Mama just killed a man.
It's the only classic rock entry on this list, and the only example of older music finding a massive worldwide resurgence. The 2018 biopic of Queen singer Freddie Mercury titled Bohemian Rhapsody not only reminded older fans of how much they love this music, but also exposed Queen to a whole new audience.
I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family.
As a result, this 1975 single from the group has been streamed again and again on Spotify. Bohemian Rhapsody has exceeded 2.4 billion streams at the time of this writing, and remains one of Queen's best-known and best-loved tracks.
Nothing really matters to me.
Number 27, Take Me to Church, Hozier.
My lover's got humor. She's the giggle at a funeral.
The grandiose production of Hozier's Take Me to Church seeks by design to replicate the massive beauty often found within large-scale cathedrals. The singer-songwriter's deep, brooding vocals underline this feeling of gothic menace, while the choral accompaniment lends the song an almost post-punk vibe, a la Joy Division or even Nick Cave.
Take me to church, I worship like a dog at the shrine of your life.
Spotify's streaming platform often highlights pop hits of the day, but the success of Hozier proved that more cerebral content can also strike it big. That said, Take Me to Church sits alongside comparatively lighter fare with Pride, having been streamed over 2.4 billion times.
For me, that death is there, the good God, let me give you my life.
Number 26, Thinking Out Loud, Ed Sheeran.
When your legs don't work like they used to before.
Folk, rock, and pop collide within this heartfelt pop tune from singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran. Thinking Out Loud was a single from the man's second full-length album, and highlights a strong and powerful vocal performance from Sheeran.
Take me into your loving arms.
The live drums have a warm, intimate production kick to them, and this reflects Sheeran's roots as a busker. There's a confessional vibe here that also gives the song a universal appeal, thanks largely to that great chorus. And you know what? The listeners seem to agree, having streamed Thinking Out Loud over 2.4 billion times on Spotify.
And we found love right where we are.
Number 25, Photograph, Ed Sheeran.
Loving can hurt sometimes.
Leave it to Ed Sheeran to soften our calloused and jaded hearts with some home movies. Parents from all walks of life will likely be moved to tears while watching the video for Sheeran's Photograph, a clip that includes real footage from the singer's youth and childhood.
Oh, you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans.
The vocal works wonderfully with the song's moving and emotional melody and insistent rhythms. Spotify is an audio medium, however, not a visual one, and this means that Photograph also works on its own musical merits. The proof? It's 2.4 billion streams, and counting on the platform.
Hearing you whisper through the phone.
You at the top of the mountain?
Wait for me to come home.
Number 24, Something Just Like This, The Chainsmokers and Coldplay.
I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths.
Did the comic book movie revolution impact the decision for Something Just Like This to reference Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman within its lyrics? Probably, but the song also seemed to resonate with listeners outside of the cross-brand promotional tactic, chalking up 2.4 billion streams on Spotify.
She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk?
Chris Martin's instantly recognizable vocals lead the charge on Something Just Like This, while the Chainsmokers' electronic accompaniment lends the song a vibe that's dance floor friendly. There's even a cool guitar solo to lift things off at the end, rounding off a very successful musical collab. Number 23, God's Plan, Drake.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me.
You can't please everybody when it comes to the music industry. Critics were fairly split on Drake's single God's Plan back when it was released in 2018. Some claim that the tune didn't really break free from Drake's established MO of pop/trap rap, but listeners didn't seem to mind more of the same.
God's plan, God's plan. I hold back sometimes I won't. Yeah.
The song has been streamed 2.4 billion times on Spotify, while also debuting at number 1 on the Billboard Top 100 chart. Did this vindicate God's plan for Drake? Well, it all depends on whether or not you dig on the man's sound, but there's no denying that there's a lot of people out there paying attention.
Bad things, it's a lot of bad things that they wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing.
Number 22, Bad Guy, Billie Eilish.
White shirt, now red, my bloody nose sleeping.
Was it 2019's Bad Guy that cemented Billie Eilish as a musician worth watching, following, and admiring? Maybe. After all, there's a lot that feels revelatory and almost dangerous within the song's provocative lyrics and downright sexy groove.
So you're a tough guy, like you really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy.
The minimalist production feels like trap music, without the term's reductive reputation, allowing Eilish's intimate vocals to reach out through the speakers and grab the listener. It turns out there's been a lot of listeners too, 2.4 billion Spotify listeners to be precise. It's never felt this good to be so bad.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Number 21, Lucid Dreams, Juice WRLD.
I still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you.
It's clear right from Jump Street that Lucid Dreams isn't your average pop rap song. Juice WRLD brings an open sensitivity to his vocal approach and a lyrical sensibility to his writing that isn't afraid to work with some dark metaphors.
I have these lucid dreams where I can't move a thing.
The auto-tune actually assists the song's apparition-like shuffle, as Juice WRLD lays bare some personal thoughts to a beat that pumps lifeblood through the speakers. Lucid Dreams is approaching 2.5 billion streams on Spotify at the time of this writing, and it's easy to see why, because the song almost single-handedly shoots holes into this idea of emo rap being a dirty word.
I thought you were the one listening to my heart instead of my head. You found another one, but I am the better one. I won't let you forget me.
Number 20, Don't Start Now, Dua Lipa.
Did a full 180, crazy.
Fun. That is the first word that could potentially come to mind when describing Don't Start Now from Dua Lipa. This track from 2019 is an unapologetically retro-minded tune that brings the electro and doesn't fake the funk for a minute.
So, if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody.
Heck, there's even some chic-style disco guitar and a driving backbeat to make Don't Start Now feel like the best sort of time capsule club tune. There's strings, synthesizer, and a great groove to be had here on Don't Start Now, and it sort of makes sense that this tune has been streamed 2.5 billion times on Spotify.
Walk away, you know how, don't start caring about me now.
Number 19, Watermelon Sugar, Harry Styles.
Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening.
The sophomore album from former One Direction member Harry Styles did a great job at differentiating itself from Styles' boy band past. A fine example of this differentiation is Watermelon Sugar, a song that still possesses a pop soul, sure, but also dabbles with art rock, a la Peter Gabriel or David Bowie.
I want your belly and that summer feeling.
Styles' voice really works on the track, while the production is modern enough to feel commercial, while also referencing 1960s bubblegum within its chorus melody. The mixture is odd, but totally works, to the tune of nearly 2.6 billion streams on Spotify.
Watermelon sugar.
Number 18, Senorita, Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello.
I love it when you call me senorita.
This musical collaboration between Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello was so successful, the track was included on different versions of albums from both singers. This speaks to the massive popularity of Senorita, a Latin-infused pop song that makes the most out of both Mendes and Cabello's vocals.
Wish it wasn't so damn hard to leave, yeah, but every touch is ooh la la la.
The dance floor is the destination when it comes to this jam, and Senorita isn't ashamed to drive home this aim with every insistent beat and groove. Meanwhile, Mendes and Cabello harmonize well on the track, creating pop success to the tune of over 2.6 billion streams on Spotify.
Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you keep me coming for ya.
Number 17, Say You Won't Let Go, James Arthur.
I met you in the dark, you lit me up.
We live in an age where it becomes very difficult to come up with something new when it comes to composing chord phrasings and melodic choices. Say You Won't Let Go from British singer James Arthur was forced to include the Irish rock band The Script as songwriters when it was revealed that Arthur's song was composed in too similar a fashion to a song of theirs.
I knew I loved you then, but you'd never know.
Does this little bit of trivia impact the fact that Say You Won't Let Go has been streamed 2.7 billion times on Spotify? Not particularly, but then again, not every hit song drinks from the creative well of originality.
You just say you won't let go.
Number 16, Lovely, Billie Eilish and Khalid.
Thought I found a way. Thought I found a way, yeah.
It was the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why and its accompanying second season soundtrack that served as the source for this hit from Billie Eilish and Khalid. The performers collaborate on an atmospheric and haunting ballad that feels dramatic with palpable gravitas.
Outside, I can't find my fear.
The sentimentality and melancholy of Lovely never feels forced here, and it's this authenticity that perhaps resonates with listeners so much that they've streamed the track over 2.7 billion times on Spotify. The echoed production enhances the sad string section that occurs near the song's finale as well, making Lovely reverberate in listeners' hearts long after the song has faded away.
Welcome home.
Number 15, Sweater Weather, The Neighborhood.
All I am is a man. I want the world in my hands.
The California-based alternative rock band The Neighborhood may currently be on musical hiatus while their lead singer seeks a solo career, but they can always look back on the success of Sweater Weather.
Sleeves on my sweater, let's have an adventure. Head in the clouds, but my gravity centered.
Partially due to its popularity on TikTok, it has racked up over 2.7 billion streams on Spotify, and it's easy to see why, right from the opening breakbeat on the drums. The ghostly production on the twangy guitar gives Sweater Weather a feeling that's evocative of a film score, while also retaining a rock edge.
It's too cold for you here.
It's a moody piece with strong vocals and a diverse array of rhythms to keep things interesting, including an ending coda that drives home Sweater Weather as something of a modern classic.
It's too cold, it's too cold. The handles harder.
Number 14, Closer, The Chainsmokers featuring Halsey.
Hey, I was doing just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue.
Does it matter that there's 6 credited songwriters on Closer? We're not sure, but there's no denying that this hooky pop hit is difficult to forget once you hear it. The song has been streamed over 2.7 billion times on Spotify, ramming home the fact that its chorus sounds remarkably like other hit songs over the years.
So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover.
Specifically, Closer was forced to credit two members of indie rockers The Fray due to its similarities to that group's hit Over My Head, Cable Car. This controversy seemed to matter little to pop fans at the end of the day, however, and Closer continues to rack up Spotify streams on a daily basis. Number 13, Perfect, Ed Sheeran.
I found a love for me.
There's something about some love songs that makes them perfect fodder for seemingly endless streams, and Perfect by Ed Sheeran is a great one. The song's subject matter and execution reminds one of Eric Clapton's Wonderful Tonight, with its first-person celebration of a significant other.
Baby, I'm dancing in the dark.
Sheeran's vocals are intimate and honest on the track, while the melodic songwriting of Perfect seems indebted to the doo-wop teen ballads of the 1950s, updated for the modern day. The song feels like the best sort of anachronism, grabbing onto the heartstrings of over 2.8 billion Spotify listeners.
You look perfect tonight.
Number 12, Heat Waves, Glass Animals. The indie rock genre often sees its fair share of crossover success, but Glass Animals took it to another level back in 2020 with their hit single, Heat Waves. Maybe it's the minimalist electronic backbeat that allows the post-Coldplay pop of Glass Animals to thrive amid the modern Spotify landscape.
Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June.
Maybe it's the catchy melody over the chorus that connects Heat Waves to the group's indie roots. We're not sure, but the song possesses a dreamy beauty that's difficult to resist, and an anthemic vibe that we imagine goes over wonderfully in a live context. In the meantime, Heat Waves has been big on Spotify for years now, racking up an impressive 2.8 billion streams.
Heat waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now.
Number 11, Believer, Imagine Dragons.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head.
It's a sentiment that's been echoed in blogs, YouTube videos, and on think pieces throughout the internet. This idea that Imagine Dragons basically just creates music to be used in commercials. This may be true, but the proof is also in the proverbial pudding, since there are a lot of people that seem to be listening. This is regardless of how many times a song like Believer gets licensed out to God knows where, but you know what? We totally get it. The song is economically composed in a way that feels predictable yet comforting. The audience knows exactly where this main melody is heading, and they like it, singing along to that infectious chorus all the way to 2.9 billion Spotify streams. Number 10, Rockstar, Post Malone featuring 21 Savage.
Man, I feel just like a rock star. All my brothers got that gas and they always be smoking like a Rockstar.
There's a devastatingly hypnotic vibe to this 2017 single from Post Malone titled Rockstar. The song, which also features British rapper 21 Savage as a guest, really only hangs its hat upon one convincing melody and milks that catchiness for all it's worth.
Some of the bitches in my trailer say they ain't got a man, and they all brought a friend.
The end result works best with headphones, as Rockstar regales listeners with all of the stereotypical habits that go down when musicians become successful. Meanwhile, the minimalist beats tie into the song's almost psychedelic feel, making it easy to see why Rockstar has been streamed 2.9 billion times on Spotify.
When my homies pull up on your block, they make that thing go grata-ta-ta.
Number 9, Stay, The Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber.
I do the same thing I told you that I never would. I told you I changed, even when I knew I never could.
It's difficult to pin down a proper genre when it comes to Stay from The Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. Emo rap? Retro synth pop? Salty bubblegum? The song feels like all of these and more, hanging from a nostalgic-sounding synth melody, upbeat pop-punk drums, and a hooky chorus straight out of the bubblegum playbook, albeit with some cursing thrown into the mix. The The collaborative feeling on this 2021 single never feels too one-sided, and its relative brevity practically begs for repeated spins. Audiences responded in droves too, spinning Stay at a rate that's fast approaching the 3 billion mark.
I need you to stay, need you to stay, yeah.
Number 8. Dance Monkey, Tones and I.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine.
The success of Dance Monkey from Tones and I was a breath of fresh air, particularly in a world where so many pop hits contain an arsenal of producers and songwriters. Instead, this was just Tones and I, aka Tony Watson, who was responsible for writing this earworm of a track from 2019.
So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh.
Dance Monkey possesses an irresistible vocal hook from Tones and I, a chorus that's impossible to forget but super fun to sing along with over and over again. Dance Monkey seemed to really resonate with pop fans too, since the track has amassed over 3 billion streams on Spotify at the time of this writing.
When you're done, I'll make you do it all again.
Number 7. One Dance, Drake featuring WizKid and Kyla.
Grips on your waist, front way, back way. You know that I don't play.
Drake's One Dance single from 2016 was a huge success, at least partly due to the guest musicians he has on the track. The Afrobeat influence from Nigeria's WizKid fuels the groove, while guest singer Kyla adds a fragile yet quite pretty melody over the chorus. Drake, in the meantime, in his usual charismatic self.
That's why I need a one dance. Got a Hennessy in my hand.
His vocals are produced well, his flow feels strong, and his verses fuel the hooks of One Dance in a way that melds nicely with the instrumentation. There's a physicality to the end product of One Dance, and Drake's fans seem to agree with this short but sweet jam, streaming it over 3 billion times on Spotify.
One more time before I go. Higher powers taking hold on me.
Number 6. As It Was, Harry Styles.
Holding me back, gravity's holding me back.
It seems reasonable to claim that the third solo album from former One Direction member Harry Styles needed to capitalize upon the success of his 2019 album Fine Line. Thankfully, the lead single, As It Was, effectively silenced any criticism of Styles' success being something of a fluke.
In this world, it's just us.
The song has been streamed nearly 3.1 billion times on Spotify at the time of this writing, which isn't too shabby for a song that doesn't even crack the 3-minute mark. Then again, whoever said that songs needed to be long to be good? As It Was cracks the pop formula code, and is all the better for it.
No, it's not the same as it was.
Number 5. Starboy, The Weeknd featuring Daft Punk.
I'm trying to put you in the worst mood. P1 cleaner than your church shoes.
The electronic pedigree of living legends Daft Punk looms large over this 2016 hit from The Weeknd. Starboy glistens like a shiny new synthesizer, fresh out of a 1980s Radio Shack, yet it's the vocals of The Weeknd that ground the song within the here and now.
Look what you done.
Over 3.1 billion Spotify streams don't lie. Starboy was a big deal, and it continues to be a big deal years after its initial release. The song just seemed to grab more and more listeners with passing week, jumping Billboard chart spots and leaping straight into the hearts of The Weeknd's fan base. Number 4. Sunflower, Post Malone and Sway Lee.
Innocent say I keep a check. She was a bad bad, nevertheless.
Soundtrack songs can often be big business, with comic book movies being doubly so, most of the time. 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse benefited from featuring Post Malone and Sway Lee on its soundtrack, just as Post Malone enjoyed additional exposure from being highlighted on the album.
You're the sunflower.
Every time I'm leaving on you, you don't make it easy, no.
The tune has been streamed over 3.2 billion times on Spotify and offers a warm and melodic sound, which grooves along with grace and a mildly funky energy. It's not too far removed from Post Malone's established sound, it also stands apart from the man's discography in a way that feels refreshing.
You're the sunflower. You're the sunflower.
Number 3. Someone You Loved, Lewis Capaldi.
I'm going on during this time. I feel there's no one to save me.
Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi didn't need any nepotism from the singer's cousin, Peter Capaldi, to find chart success. It didn't hurt that the Doctor Who star was featured in the original video, of course, but the song still works just fine on its own.
Day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all.
Someone You Loved has been streamed over 3.3 billion times on Spotify, connecting with a very receptive audience. Capaldi hasn't been able, as of yet, to capitalize upon the success of Someone You Loved with another single that captures the same sort of melancholic energy. That said, there's far worse tunes to be known for than this one.
I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
Number 2, Shape of You, Ed Sheeran.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go.
The name Ed Sheeran is one that seems to be synonymous with Spotify's success. We've seen his brand of earnest singer-songwriter pop come up again and again when it comes to lists like these. And why not?
I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do.
Sheeran frankly just knows how to connect with his target audience. It doesn't really matter that Shape of You somewhat infamously interpolated the vocal melody of TLC's No Scrubs, because the success of this song speaks for itself. How successful, you may ask? Well, how about 3.8 billion streams on Spotify? How does that grab you?
Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Blinding Lights, The Weeknd.
I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough.
Some musical artists just feel destined to dominate Spotify. The Weeknd certainly belongs in this conversation anyway, as evidenced by the insane chart success of his 2019 single, Blinding Lights.
I look around, see the city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me.
The song feels both retro-inspired and timeless, thanks largely to its crisp, shiny production and the synth-pop backbone of its execution. Both fans and critics alike seem to flock to Blinding Lights, and the song held to a top 10 spot on the Billboard single charts for a full year. Meanwhile, the song has amassed over 4.1 billion streams on Spotify, with no sign of stopping anytime soon. What's your go-to jam on Spotify? Let us know in the comments.
They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.